Imagine living in constant fear, not of war, not of enemies, but of your own body. Imagine believing that a single touch could shatter you into pieces. Not a myth, not a legend. A real king once believed this. A ruler of one of the most powerful kingdoms in Europe, Charles VI of France. But how does a king begin to fear himself? And what happens to a kingdom when its ruler is afraid to move? Before we uncover this strange and disturbing story, make sure to subscribe, because history is darker than you think. In the late 14th century, France was one of the most powerful kingdoms in Europe, and on its throne sat a young king, intelligent, charismatic, and full of promise. His name was Charles VI of France. At first, everything seemed normal. He ruled with confidence, he was loved by his people, and the future of the kingdom looked secure. But something was changing, slowly, silently. Then, one day, during a journey through the forest, something strange happened. A man suddenly appeared. He grabbed the king's horse, looked him in the eyes, and shouted, "You are betrayed." Then he disappeared. Who was he? A madman or a warning? Just hours later, the king lost control. He drew his sword and attacked his own men. Several were killed by his hand. From that moment on, nothing would ever be the same. Was this the beginning of his illness, or the moment his mind truly broke? As time passed, the king's behavior became even more disturbing. But this time, it wasn't violence, it was fear. A very specific, very strange fear. The king began to believe that his body was made of glass. Not metaphorically, not symbolically, but literally. He was convinced that he could shatter at any moment. Can you imagine living like that? A king who could not be touched. He refused to let anyone come near him. He wore specially reinforced clothing, padded from the inside to protect himself from breaking. He avoided sudden movements. He avoided physical contact. Sometimes he wouldn't move at all. And if someone got too close, he would panic, scream, even lash out. But the question is, did he know something was wrong? Or was this his reality? Was he trapped inside a delusion with no way out? While the king was trapped in his fears, his kingdom began to fall apart. Power struggles erupted among the nobles. Different factions fought for control. Decisions were made without a stable ruler. During this time, the 100 Years' War was still ongoing, and France was vulnerable. A king who could not rule. A court filled with ambition and betrayal. What could possibly go wrong? Sometimes the king would recover. For brief moments, he seemed normal again. He would speak clearly, act like a ruler. But those moments never lasted, and when the madness returned, it was worse. No one knew which version of the king they would face. A leader, or a man terrified of his own body? Can a kingdom survive when its ruler cannot even trust himself? The condition never truly left him. Years passed, and the cycle continued. Moments of clarity, followed by long periods of fear and confusion. The glass delusion stayed with him, a constant shadow, invisible, but powerful enough to control his entire life. In the end, Charles VI of France did not fall in battle. He was not overthrown. He was defeated by something far more silent, his own mind. He died after a long and troubled reign, leaving behind a weakened kingdom, a divided court, and a legacy marked by instability. But one question remains. How can the human mind become so powerful that it convinces someone they are made of glass? He was a king. He ruled a nation, but he could not control his own thoughts. Because sometimes the most terrifying thing in history is not war, not death, but the human mind.